And we'll start simply by connecting to our breath. So I'm just allowing breath and feeling awareness to constellate in and through the core and the interior of the body. So feeling breath through the head space, the throat space, the heart, diaphragm space. And that abdominal and pelvic space. These next several breaths start to employ the low belly muscles so that as you're exhaling, there's a patient kind of assisting of the breath, emptying of the breath. So we're just consciously escorting ourselves toward emptier. I'd love to work with some alternate nostril breathing. And let's take this in stages so that we kind of on-ramp in a more gradual way. So part one, no hold, and then part two, we'll add in the hold. So I'm gonna start with a really basic, like 1-to-2 ratio. For every count I inhale, I exhale 2. So I'm going to begin in that ratio. I'm selecting right hand, thumb closes nostril, and we'll begin alternate nostril breathing at first with no holds. So as you're inhaling through that open nostril, inhaling to a point of fullness or completion. Allowing that inhale to crest and just switching the fingers, exhaling out the other nostril. We'll do a few rounds like so. It's just that act of breathing from 2 nostrils to 1 nostril creates a kind of a limiting factor. So already we're having to slow down this breathing process. well-selected, well-placed constraints, like a breathing technique or a posture, can really inform what's emerging in the creative process. Right? So we have ways of selecting limitation in which to work. So in these new set of circumstances, how does breath move, energy move? What is emerging? What novelty is coming through in this moment? Let's apply the hold. So part 2, inhale, hold, exhale. I'm going to leave the hold up to you. When I slowly apply these limiting factors, I like to do so really gradually. So I'll usually do it in a 1:1:2 ratio. I just very gradually build that into a longer hold. And I found there's at least a couple ways to hold the breath. One is where we apply a little bit of a glottal closure. I guess the more traditional way is like a bandha or a lock, where there's a little bit of like, to me it feels like a seal, like a gasket. And the other way is just allowing the inhale to crest, be in this rather open kind of suspension of breath before it passes out. The breath passes through. So just so you know, you might be applying the bandha or that little bit of holding or closure. And you might play with just that a breath suspension without any throat or pelvic capping. And they create different effects, so just you can be aware that maybe there's one you've tended to do. And we'll just finish up whatever round that you're on. So when you've exhaled and you feel complete, we can pause there. We'll cross right over left and prep for seated spinal twist. Okay. With the right over the left, we'll be twisting to our right. Inhale. Just gently reaching the sit bones down away from the brain. And exhaling, turning to the right. Having drawn this right arm either back behind us or kind of moving it back and down. So this little armpit chest area that gets some exposure or some stretch. Deeply inhale into this right side of the ribs, just under the armpit, just under the chest wall. As we get breath into these ribs, we're getting breath into other shoulder structures that help move the blade and relieve some of these deep chest wall structures. So just kind of in speaking aloud how I'm moving through this process, I'm breathing into the sides of the ribs, especially up in that right armpit. Just finding if those ribs and those intercostals move somewhat. And what that movement is like. And we'll release. When we inhale back around, we'll switch the cross of legs. Placing left over right, we're prepared to twist left. Moving on exhale. I'm just letting these initial twists help me explore, magnify what I'm feeling around the lung and the heart. And deep into that spine, because as I expand the ribs, those rib joints are spine joints. Just receiving impressions. Deep chest wall. You can feel any tone or weight. You might sense opacity or translucence through the chest wall, the upper back. Get a sense of how breath moves through there, if it moves through there. there's any particular emotional tone. And release. Inhale back around. All right, we're going to switch to the cross of legs, so we're right over left. I'm selecting for knee pile. If you need another form of right over left, please do so. We'll go unlocking shoulder. So we're getting some breath into those armpit areas, chest wall areas, shoulder blade structure. So just keep playing, get that whole upper back and upper chest, in a manner of speaking, lubricated. So right elbow in front of right shoulder. Inhale to feel breath under that right shoulder blade. Exhale the shoulder down, the blade down. And I keep drawing down as I reach forward. That drawing down is kind of acting on those trapezius, those upper neck and shoulder blade muscles. Inhale, feeling the deep mechanical breath, the physical breath that moves the ribs, but also feeling the subtle breath, wherein we feel the tone and the energy and the emotionality of the body. Exhale, draw that shoulder down, reach the elbow forward. Now continually draw that shoulder down. We apply the left palm to the elbow. Inhale. Keep pulling that shoulder down as you inhale, which makes deep breathing a very different creature. Exhale, draw the shoulder down, press the elbow and the palm one into the other. Now the chest muscles turn on. Now keeping this right elbow stationary. Inhale, pull the shoulder down, the right shoulder down. And exhale, pull that right elbow toward your left hip bone. Your palm blocks it, but that's the direction, kind of diagonal. One more very deep breath. Inhaling, pulling the shoulder down. Exhale, motioning, moving that right elbow as if toward the left hip. And release. We'll switch sides. So we're left over right, legs. And our left elbow is up for unlocking shoulder. So inhaling the physical breath, right? The mechanical action of expansion and motion, you can feel that. The subtle breath, you can feel the space around the lung and the heart. Exhale the shoulder down. Reach that elbow, the arm forward, but keep drawing the shoulder down, down away from the ear. So inhaling, drawing the shoulder down, spread the ribs out. Exhale, draw the shoulder down, reaching that elbow forward. Okay, we'll apply the right palm to the left elbow. Inhale. Now exhale, keep drawing the shoulder down. And start to press this left elbow toward the right hip. Take 3 deep breaths. Inhaling the left shoulder down. Reaching with your feeling, your sensitivity all the way into that left collarbone. Exhale the shoulder down and toward the right hip. The right hand keeps it blocked so there's no motion, but there's a lot of energy. Release. Cool. Let's unwind the legs. And we'll lie back. We'll be working elbow to knee, so as always, you're welcome to place the feet on the wall if you needed some additional back support. Inhale the head and the shoulder blades off the ground, just a little bit. Curling tailbone, exhale, reach out to the left leg. And you may turn the elbows slightly toward the right thigh. You feel those shoulder blade, chest muscles working differently. Pull low belly down. Inhale, bend left knee. Reaching elbows toward the sky. Curl tailbone, exhale, right leg out reaches. Reaching those elbows slightly left. And the whole shoulder blade, that whole complex, there's a little spiraling, a little bit of a turn. Low belly down. Inhale, back centrally. What's kind of neat is your curl tailbone, exhale the left leg out. If you're moving those shoulder blades and reaching through those elbows together with each one of these reps, sometimes you can get some adjustment or some little motion through the chest wall and the mid-back. Low belly down. Inhale, come back centrally, bend left knee. Reaching elbows up, so I'm still wrapping the shoulders. Curl tailbone, exhale, right leg out reaches. Slightly turning that whole ribbon of connection through the shoulder blades. Pull low belly down. Inhale, bend right knee. Let's do 3 more on each side, just 3 more. Feeling this little ribbon of connection through the shoulder blades. Structurally, so mechanically, structurally, can link right into that solar plexus. It's a linkage that helps us feel that the lower part of the body and the upper part of the body are linked. They're Now, the linkage may not be evident, but as we have the intention of feeling for that linkage, it may improve our chances of feeling that there is this integratedness, this linkage throughout the body. So we can always play as if. There you go. That's it, Amy. That's it. Yeah, it's almost like I'm tying that right armpit to the left hip. Yeah. And then as you do that side, it's like you're tying that left armpit to the right hip. Yep. Wonderful. There you go. Yes, yes, yes. Cool. And when you feel complete with that, we'll set up for Dolphin. So set up on elbows, knees. So we can still be forming this sense of linkage. I'm pulling the shoulders down, but But feeling that right armpit snuggle closer to the left hip bone, and that left armpit snuggles into that right hip bone. Already I've got a ton of support on the belly side of my torso. Inhale, push the earth. And exhale the knees off the ground. Dolphin. I like to get that engagement going through the chest wall, that keeping those chest muscles on. Because one, just from a structural point of view, engaging those muscles like down to the bone can sometimes have some wonderful reorganizing effect right around the sternum. These are joints where the sternum and the ribs meet. So let's take some breaths there, feeling for these little joints where the ribs meet the sternum, the breastbone. Take these few deep breaths here. It's finding out, are those joints mobile? Is there motion? Is there non-motion? Is there a tenderness? Or a freedom thereabouts? Gently set the knees down. Okay. When you're ready to stand, we'll take a horse stance or whatever just allows you to hinge at the hips with the legs set kind of widely. Okay, so if it's not a horse stance, it's actually just, it's fine. We're going to work some rounds of Agnisara. I'm going to go very slow with these rounds. So inhaling, I've got my hands on thighs. And with the chin slightly tucked toward the sternal notch, exhale everything out. Remain empty. And then we'll draw the belly in and back, and up. Might release it softly, might draw it in and back again. Releasing. Take as much breath as you require to feel steady. Like steady in the head, steady in the feet. I don't find that there's a lot of good reason for progressing from one round to the next quickly. So just give yourselves plenty of time, breath time, between these rounds. And when you are ready, we'll do another slow round of Agnisara. Inhale. And exhaling everything out. We're drawing the belly in and releasing. You can do this as patiently as you like. You can do this as a kind of a repetition way. I'm going so slowly that it's almost like Uddiyana, like there's this, just playing with slowly releasing through the gut and the belly. Just continue, get like 1 or maybe 2 more rounds in. And there's no rush. It's about, these are parameters, these techniques, these poses are strictures that allow something to be seen or something to be known. What emerges, what can be noticed through these set of parameters called holding the breath, pulling the belly back. What do you start to feel and notice about your abdomen, your back, your spine? And when you feel complete in that, you resume your Ujjayi breath. We'll set the legs out and straddle for flank stretch. So for flank stretch, I fold centrally. I like one of 2 ways for this. One way is where left hand grabs right ankle, but sometimes that can be a little bit intense. So you can also put your left hand out in front of the right foot. Just a different angle, and sometimes I just love this a lot more for the shoulder and the hamstring. But either way, the left hand goes to the right side. Allowing the neck to be soft. Now, making a concerted effort to incorporate all of those rib muscles into our breathing thus far. I've just kind of touched in the shoulder blade area, the chest, the armpit, sternum, spine. So now how is this deep Ujjayi breath feeling all around the left quadrant of lung and shoulder? And release. We'll switch sides. So the right hand can go over to the left side. You can either grab the ankle. What I'm doing today is I'm putting my right palm in front of my left foot. It changes the angle, and it just makes it a little more appealing through that the upper rib area. You can still get a really significant, shoulder access. And release. When you walk your hands centrally, adjust the feet so that you can place your fingertips on the ground. We're doing just a little bit of hand work. So I have my fingertips pointing toward the backside behind me, and my palms are facing forward. And here I'm just easing the palms nearer and nearer to the ground. You just adjust your feet however you need to so that you can play with just this gentle softening and spreading through the palm heel and the wrist and the forearm structure. If the palms reach all the way to the ground, then you can lightly, subtly draw the shoulders back, which will increase the stretch. It will increase the angle that the wrists are going through. And heel, toe, feet together, lifting those hands up. We'll be setting up with the wall, lunges against the wall. It's been a while since we've gone there, so just try to keep visiting all these places. So have your mat and any amount of cushion you require for your knee. Have that set up. Now with a cushion, just ensure that we got some amount of cushion going up the wall. If you got a couch nearby, very easy setup. Okay, I'm going to start on my right side. So we've been doing some half Virasana stuff lately, so this might be a ringing some bells. So I've got the heel beside the hip and the sole of left foot on the ground. You're welcome to place your hands on your hips. That's one place. And you're welcome to reach the arms overhead. Okay. But either way, we're intoning with either hand pressure or hand reach that the ribs are telescoping up away from the activity of the hips. So we're just gently suggesting that kind of lifting and, what's the word, allowing for more and more space to accommodate any intensity or energy that starts to move in the body. Now, take it this front leg and let's walk it forward several inches. As we move more deeply into the lunge, just anticipate, you may feel this in some different areas. There you go. Now, having done all that shoulder blade area work, feel if that breath can bridge the hips and the shoulders. Is the breath so vast that it can touch and reach and penetrate both the pelvis and the shoulder blade area? And lastly, we'll set the hands down. Walk your front foot forward to the point of straightening or nearly straightening. Okay. So you may simply want to fold forward so you have a very controlled amount of stretch in the front leg. If you're pretty warmed up or you've done your body's kind of hot, you can begin a slide forward, like you're reaching the foot away from the wall. Letting the breath reach all the way down to the pelvic floor. The stretch doesn't have to be super intense. For the breath to be felt in all of these areas of the body like pelvic floor. One more very deep breath. All right. And we'll start to edge out of that area. And we'll be switching sides. So take your time. We're setting up lunge. We'll be going through 3 positions. And first, with my hips nearer to the wall, select hands either on hips or hands overhead. With the hand positions, we're intimating the core can continue to expand and extend and grow as if right from that site of greatest sensation. Yeah, you might feel for the I don't know who this is, but when we adjust the skull over the pelvis, over what you're feeling in the pelvis, just that gentle upliftment. Feel that area under the brain, right between the brain and that glottal tongue root area, that area of the throat. Feel that area open up. It's almost like your brain and your throat get that same breeze of breath that your pelvis gets. Mm-hmm. All right, so that's second position. We'll walk the right foot forward several inches, lunging forward. Something I've noticed over time is I have the sense that some of us who've become quite accustomed to Ujjayi breath, the technique of breathing, create the sound by positioning the brain and the throat in a compressed relationship. And so one of the things we can do for ourselves is let the brain and the throat be in a freedom relationship. And that allows the tongue and the throat structure to be freer. And we'll still hear the ujjayi, and it has a lighter touch. It's really nice. All right, and finally, as we set the hands down, we're straightening the front leg forward, walking it forward. You can walk it, straighten it, and fold, and that way you can allow for exactly the amount of stretch sensation you want to work with. Or you can walk that right foot way forward, sliding into splits. And do listen to the warmth of your body, the readiness of your legs, your tissues. And we'll start to exit. We'll walk that front leg back. And we'll be moving away from the wall, so we'll set up our mat. Wherever we like to work. And we'll stand at the top of the mat. And get our legs under us. Inhale, reach arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Allowing the neck and the core to soften. Inhale the left foot back. Lunge. We'll set the knee down, drawing the arms up. Starting to create that little lift or articulation through the mid and the upper back. Hands to ground. Exhale, step the right foot back. And as we lower, draw, pull the shoulders away from the neck. I'm using my chest muscles on the way down. Cobra, inhale. Inhaling behind the chest wall. I'm feeling from the inside of my shoulders. Exhale, lower down, downward dog. Chest muscles again. I push and kind of squeeze the hands toward each other. Like it's that peck helping me press back. Lunge, inhale, left foot forward. Drawing the arms up and lifting. Feel the upper back. Lifting from the mid back. Hands to ground. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Fold. Inhale, stand, drawing the arms up. Exhaling, hands to heart. We'll do another, just like so. Inhale, reach up. Feel the ribs lift, feel the upper back starting to get a little more motion. Exhale, fold. So as that chest starts to open, that upper back can articulate. Inhale the right foot back, lunge. Use the arms as you lift. Chest lifts, upper back articulates. Hands to ground, exhale. Step the left foot back. And as you lower, pull the shoulders down, push with the chest muscles, actually tweezing thumb toward thumb, palm heel toward palm heel. Inhale, cobra. Breathing right behind that chest wall. Exhale, downward dog. Tweezing thumb and palm heels to push back. Lunge, inhale, right foot forward. Hands to ground, exhale, step left foot forward, fold. Now, admittedly, I'm kind of moving a little sluggish here through this. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhaling, hands to heart. So let's do 4 more rounds on our own, and that way, if you want to move a little more swiftly, you don't feel like I'm holding you back. Okay, so we'll do 4 more rounds on our own, but I'll be doing these with you. I find that when shoulders have been injured over time, gradually, some of the nature of the injury starts to preclude breathing deeply and expressively underneath that shoulder. So even if we can't move a previously injured shoulder, feel for breathing in and under the shoulder. At top of our lung, especially if we're city dwellers, we really need to aerate and breathe and refresh and renew those top lobes of our lungs. Right? If we're near forest fires or pollutants, like this is the part of our lung that really catches the brunt of things like pollutants and smoke. Those pollutants, as they aggregate, can kind of create a stymieing effect about the shoulder and the ribs. So part of what we can do in our practice is lubricate and move the shoulder, expressively breathe and exercise those tissues of the lungs, of the chest, of the ribs, and the shoulder blade. And you might be on that last round or two. I guess depending how swiftly we move. Great. Let's get into it. Chair pose, inhale, bend knees, reach arms up. But not only am I reaching the arms up, I'm articulating that upper back, lifting the chest. So I'm really trying to express or move those upper ribs. Exhale, fold, allowing those upper ribs and joints to kind of soften toward the earth. Monkey, inhale, collar away from lap. And we'll set the hands down. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, pull with the hands. Pull the chest forward. It's a very strong chest opening move. Exhale, downward dog. We're going to give this downward dog a few breaths that it deserves. Reach out through the shoulder joints. So your feeling awareness streams through or completely integrates, includes the shoulder. The arm, feeling all the way in and through the arm, through the elbow, through the forearm and the wrist, through the heel of the palm and every single fingertip. Okay, as we feel in and through, the body energy moves. Energy aggregates, energy pools, energy constellates, energy currents. So our attentional motions, our attentional movements through the body start having these almost predictable energy shifts. Easy twisting warrior. Inhale, step the right foot forward. So in a warrior one stance, I like to plant that left heel down. It's okay if it lifts up. Left hand remains down, drawing the right arm up. Push through that left arm. So you're pushing through the left, chest, feeling in and through the shoulder, in and through that left arm. Press down. We've got your weight, your chest weight over that palm, over that shoulder. Start to pull the ground. Reach with your hands as if pulling your thumb tips slightly away. So you may even want, Bridget, to put your right hand more over the shoulder. There you go. Now, yep. Now, actively pull the thumb tips apart from one another. There you go. And that right shoulder starts to kind of move over the left shoulder. I'll just invite us breathing, feeling the chest wall again, the heads of the shoulders, the upper back. Inhale, bring the right hand down to the ground. We set up pigeon, left knee down. Set the right leg across. Setting the left shin down. When we receive these sense impressions in the body, we can also ascertain our attitudes toward these sense impressions. Maybe the very way that I habitually attend, the very particular way I focus or neglect, in part produces the attitude. Right? Inhale, walk the hands back under the shoulder. Exhale, downward dog. Okay. Shoulders and hips, shoulders and hips. Here's easy twisting warrior on that other side. Inhale the left foot forward. Leaving the right hand down. Exhaling the left arm up. Now, if your shoulders are delicate today, sometimes what I'll do is almost like I'm putting the back of my left hand on the sacrum, and I'll kind of reach back with the elbow. Okay. It's not bothering me today, so I'll reach that left arm up. Sometimes simply deepening the stance, feeling for that shoulder connection to the hip, is sufficient to alleviate any quirky aches in the shoulder. So if it feels like something's kind of pointed about the shoulder in this position, you may try deepening the stance so you're feeling the entire torso turning rather than just the shoulder joint kind of flapping around. That's it, Amy, that's it. And then Amy, if you push arm away from arm, bicep, there you go. Hold that, remain, and feel the breath right under this sternal notch and between the shoulders. Yes, you remember all those armpit ribs, all that breast area, those ribs under the breast? Feel those, like breath right under that. There you go. That's it. That's it. It's getting right into that chest wall. That area around the heart can be such a cool, fantastic little envelope of surprise. So breathing into that whole space around the heart, the lung, the heart. These are really emotive, expressive parts of body. Let's take that pigeon. Inhale, we'll bring that left hand down, the right knee down, and we'll walk the left leg down. And so just following on before, you may just want to try this out as you're sensing your body, just the way that you're sensing, noticing your any attitudes toward the sensation, just as a little experiment. If I change the way I'm focusing or feeling the body, if I start to explore, sense the body more globally, more interconnected, if I feel the pelvis and the shoulders together, if I change the way that I'm focusing or feeling my body, and then I note again my attitude toward the sensations of my body, maybe, just maybe, I'll start to put together that the way that I notice sets the stage for what I feel in noticing, how I feel toward myself in noticing. The way that we attend is subject to habituation, right? I see in a particular way, and then it leads me to feel a particular way. Inhale, let's walk the hands under the shoulders. Exhaling, downward dog. All right, we're going to go archer in warrior one. Inhale your right foot forward. Now, if for archer, you like a strap, grab it with the left hand, and we'll lower it down to the right, or left elbow up, right elbow down. Pressing the soles of the feet into the earth so the thigh bones lengthen away from pelvis. Inhaling, growing the low back away from the pelvis. Spreading that breath into the uppermost lung. Exhale, reach up through that left arm. Continuing to express or access the upper ribs. Let's take some deep breaths into that upper back. If you hit a little challenging spot, you position yourself just so. You start to feel some challenge. Maybe there's some challenge in holding that. Just serve it breath. Bring it lots of breath. Get really curious. Gift it with your curiosity. And release. And go directly to the other side. Let those arms just hang out for a moment. Inhale them to the ground. Exhale, chaturanga. Lower. Inhale, upward dog. Cobra also works. Exhaling, downward dog. Pause in downward dog. And reach through those arms. Because if we, in fact, were breathing deeply, sensing deeply into the upper back and the chest wall, maybe that turns on something in downward dog. Maybe that starts to open up some feeling pathways from the heart into the chest, the lung, the shoulder, the arms. Inhale, we'll step the left foot forward, archer, warrior one. We're going right elbow up, left elbow down. Now, if I kind of hang my left shoulder forward, there can be this pretty gnarly pull on the front, in the muscle. Okay. So what I may have to do is use my hand against my back and physically move my left shoulder back. Let's find out if that helps the shoulder. And release. Inhale, let those arms exit that archer. Hands to ground. Exhale, chaturanga. We'll complete this sun. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. Reach all the way through the shoulders, the arms, the elbows. Inhale, step or lightly jump the feet forward, monkey. Moving the shoulders away from the neck. Exhale, fold. Neck softens. Chair pose. Inhale, bend knees, reach the arms up. But also lift the upper back, lift the chest up. Stand, exhaling, hands to heart. All right. It's choice time, and it's also sitting down time. Let me offer two very similar ways of approaching half Virasana with one leg up today. So I'm going to show you two ways, and then you can select how you want to explore it. So if I take half Virasana, just like our lunges against the wall, I've got my foot near my hip and I'm lying back. Sometimes I just get to my elbows. Sometimes I get my shoulder blades to the ground. Okay. Then I can always grab a leg. And then if I'm feeling like I want to have a little more something going on, I can grab a hold of the foot with a strap. Okay? Let me show you one other way to approach this. If I move into bridge and I set the block underneath the sacrum, you recognize we do this version with frequency, I can draw my right or my one foot back into half Virasana. And when things feel steady, then we can always explore lifting the other leg up and really reaching the legs in these very different directions. Okay? So we'll do one side at a time. I'll talk through the sides, but you can select whether you want to be in bridge with a block. Why I would do that is it's a little easier on the knee if the knee cannot deeply bend. Okay. And then I will be working it from the ground just because it seems fun. Okay. So I'm starting the half Virasana with my right heel beside my right hip. I'm just take a little bit of time to get in there because it deserves our time. But I'm starting right side, half Virasana. And you're welcome to remain in half Virasana. And you're welcome to pick up the other leg. In reaching the other leg up, now begin reaching those legs in very different directions. So your Virasana legs, send it away from your face. Your straightened leg, reach it toward your face. Deep breath into the low back. For those of you working half Virasana, working on the ground, I'll often hold the pose until I feel both my shoulder blades and both my hips settle rather equanimously on the ground. So there's a lot of evenness of weight distribution. And that often feels the best. There you go, Amy. That's it. All right, let's consider getting ready to change sides. If you're doing half Virasana on the ground, turn away from that Virasana leg so you have an easy exit. And if we're on the same sides together, so now I'm doing left leg half Virasana. You may find you have to just hang out with a little foot cramp. Maybe you massage it or just wait out the cramp until it kind of relaxes. And reaching the right leg up. Often we use the butt very, very strongly in these Virasana moves, but you may find relaxing the butt, especially if you're lying on the ground, as actually nicer on the pose, nicer on the pelvic floor and the back and the sacrum. And consider your exit strategy, setting the right foot down. And if you're in bridge, just take your time to lift or bridge away from the block. And to lower your way down, we'll be setting up for Shavasana. And of course, you can leave the knees to tent together. You can rest the legs up a wall. Feeling the breath being taken up through the sacrum and the shoulders, the heart, the spine. Just receiving sense impressions. Perhaps we get some different impressions when the breath is interwoven throughout the body. Maybe that has a particular feel. And when you're ready, bend knees. Turn to a side. Then press to seated. It's an honor. Namaste.